Good morning to all my brothers and sisters out there. This is a very important subject, but before we get started, please share this information with all the men, the women, because this is what we're going to have to use in the new generation. So I'm going to talk to you today. It's imperative. It's about sons and daughters. And we teach them why they are, we need to teach them earlier as to why they are reachable. Because once they're unreachable, then you got to understand. Beloved, there's going to come a time, and I just need you to understand, in every generation when God called the elder, we need to call you to stand up. There's going to become a time. And it looked like at the children, he has entrusted in us as human beings, an elder is to be able to stand up for these kids. And I don't know if you guys understand it. What are we teaching them? That's the question that I want to understand. What are we teaching them before the world? What are we teaching them before the world get to them? And once the world get to them, I can say this: the world control them. And when I say because the truth is simple. This is about simple talk. I'm talking to every man, woman, boy, and girl. If you don't discipline our children at an early age, the streets will. Do you understand what I'm saying? If we don't start teaching our kids morals and value at an early age, and once the street start teaching them, and if we don't shape these kids at an early age, we're sending them out here to the wolves and let the dogs eat them. And I'm just going to be real talk. Stop blaming everything on your failure. Because when I say you got to shape them at an early age, we got to shape them about the trauma and the will. And if we don't plant truth in them, the lie is going to eventually take a root. There is a time in our life, especially the adult man, you know what the cause and the effect, but you choose not to do anything about it. And so today, I want to talk to you about what mans and parents must teach their boys and girls long before they come out of. Because once they get into that adult age, you just done lost your time. And while their hearts are still soft, because once their heart become hardened, the streets own your kids because of your failure. And so I don't want to look at the root cause and the effect. So I just want you to understand why the spirit are still up in them. Where they got that energy and why their identity is still forming at an early age. I'm talking about real talk. And I want you to be able to share this message. Hit the notification button, because if I don't begin to preach about the subject, early childhood development, if you don't do it, the world will do it. And so therefore you'll be in trouble. What must we teach our boys? Well, that's a good question. We raise them to be men before the world turns them into threats. That's what we need to be teaching our young men. Do I need to say, teach them to be men before the world teach them how to become threats? Churches, I need you to hear me. Boys do not become men by accident. They become men by instruction, by example, by correcting them at an early age, and by loving them at an early age. Without those ingredients, these kids gonna grow up to be a threat. Teach them boys, teach him his emotions are not its enemy. And most of these boys begin to, the way you grow up, hey man, boys don't cry. Let me tell you this. I'm talking about real talk. I mean, tell that boy, as a man or parent, whatever the situation, you can carry and still be strong. You can cry and you can still be strong. I grew up in an environment where Boys don't cry, man. You're a faggot. You're a punk. But guess what? I can be one today because I've grown through it. When they said when every knee must bow and every tongue must confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, that's when I feel out. Man, you're going to cry sometime when you don't want to cry. I cry because that's a sign of the feeling and emotion. You can feel and still be a man. You can still feel it and still be a man. I don't know if you know that or not. Because the boy who cannot name his emotion will grow into a man. Do you understand what I'm saying? He will grow into a man who expresses them thoughts destructively. Because the moral of this story, men, step up to the plate. Let's save these young boys. Let's teach these boys morals and values. Teach them respect before he learned entitlement. Now, did you understand that? Teach him about respect before he earns entitlement. I'm talking about real joy. Teach them that a woman is not a reward. Teach them that. They're not a possession. These women are not a toy. They're not a therapist. And you can believe one thing, these women are not a punching bag. I hope you understand that. Early childhood development, boys, men. Teach them that consent is a holy thing. And a girl, no is a full sentence. No means no. So, men, we need to step up to the plate. We know the cause and the effect as to why these young boys are dying at an early age. They have no respect for anyone because charity begins at home. If you don't teach them in a way they should go, I'm going to tell you something. Your kid's going to be trouble in this world. Why? Because of you. I know we have a lot of single parents. You're raising these boys and the men that's nowhere to be found, address unknown. They don't want to have nothing to do with the boy. Let's face it, men. We can step up to the plate and we can make the world a better place to live. You need to start teaching them boys about accountability at an early age. Let them know, son, the choice you make, it matters. That's what you need to be teaching them. Teaching them that their word matters. And important that their action matters. Well, what do you mean by that? A boy who learned accountability early become a man who does not run from responsibility later. You understand where I'm going with this? Teach them accountability. Well, let me go over this again. Let them know, son, your choice matters, your words matter, and your action matter. A boy who learned accountability early becomes a man who does not run from responsibility later. Teach them what is their purpose of in life. Tell them he is more than his urge. Teach him that. More than his mistakes. More than his peer approval of him. Teach them the purpose. A boy without a purpose become a man without direction. Do you understand? Please share this video. Go to my YouTube channel, submit, subscribe, make comments, because this is about real talk. We need to teach these boys how to love his future family. Well, I think we all can testify with that. Why should we teach him how to love his future family? Because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to love that future family, because you have not been taught how to be a man. And at the same time, you're going to suffer in a relationship. And we're talking about real talk. No, It's not though the dominancy, but you need to teach them, but through the services, not through fear, but through presence. We got to teach these boys this. I mean, not through control. You got to teach them through character. Do you know what character means? I just need to work with you. What must, as men and women and husbands and wives, girlfriends, what must we teach our girls? Well, there are many things we can teach our girls, but sometimes when girls grow up, they're only reflections of what they see in life. They have not been taught about morals and values. Raise them to know they're worthy before the world discount them. This is how we got to raise these girls. You are somebody. You're a gift from God. You're made to be loved, made to be trusted. And I'm going to say this. What must we teach our girls again? Well, do I need to re-emphasize that? The daughters are not fragile. This is what we need to teach these daughters. They are scarce. They're not fragile. They're scarce. And scarce things must be taught how to protect themselves. We got to teach these girls at an early age. No mean no. They have to be able to understand the boundaries of their life. I mean, teach her she's enough. You got to teach them that. It comes at an early age. Teach them before any boy compliment her. You teach her you are beautiful. But when they're insecure and you don't give them that love that they deserve, and you done taught them about their body, this is what the boy's going to catch it. They're going to compliment them before any man validate her, and before society tried to sink her. What we need to do as parents, we need to tell her, you are already enough. That's what we need to teach these young ladies. We're talking about real talk now. I mean, and the most important thing, you need to teach that daughter about boundaries. There is limits. There's outer limits. Teach her that no is a spiritual shield. No mean no. Teach her that she does not own anyone. She does not owe anyone her time. She don't have to owe them any more of her time and her body and her silence and her forgiveness. She don't have to do all that, because once these scumbags get you caught into their net, you're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel helpless about the whole deal. And when I tell you that we got to teach these young ladies about discernment. Do you know what that means? Show her the difference between attention and affection. You need to teach that young lady that. Between charm and character. Between consistencies and convenience. I think if we begin to start doing our work at home, we can raise these young ladies' standards. We can raise these young boys' standards. But if they don't know, they don't know. The bottom line, we need to teach your daughter about independence. I don't need you scumbag to take care of me. I can take care of myself. You become financial independency. And once you feel that you're living below your means, you would accept anything in your life. You need to teach that girl you are worthy. You're financially stable. You're independent. So she would, you got to understand. So she would never confuse survival with love. There's a trick in all the games, baby. You got to learn how to play it. And believe me, there is no game without rules. Young ladies, you control your destiny. You control the rules by being a strong, because you've been taught that there's a lot of wolves out here dressed up like sheep. So I need you to teach her what healthy love look like. What does it look like? Well, I don't get no love from my dad. I don't get it from my mom. I'm always being humiliated. And so, I mean, because she never sees it, she will normalize that function. If she never hear it, she will accept disrespect. And if she never feel it, she would chase pain, and she would call it passion if you don't teach her about the boundaries and what we must teach our boys and girls. That's what's important. What should we teach our boys and girls? We need to teach both. You need to raise them to be whole, not just broke, not just grown. Teach them how to communicate. It's imperative. Because when you don't know how to communicate, you're always going to make a lot of mistakes. You can take that one to the bank. You teach them how to communicate. You teach it, but not to communicate, not with violence, not with silence, but with truth, humility, and you got to be courageous. We got to save our youth. I need to say that. We need to teach them how to handle failure in their life. You're going to run across some good and bad, is how you deal with it. And so, you know, what I mean by that, failure is not identity. Failure is final. We need to teach the young, but with truth, humility, and courageous. That's what we need to teach them. And when I say to you, teach them how to handle themselves, look at what I just said. We need to also take a look at ourselves. Teach them how to choose friends. Because these so-called friends have never been taught morals and values. It's much easier to fit in your kid to feel like they need to fit in because you have not taught them. I'm talking about real talk. I mean, because there are circles and will shape their character. They say birds of feathers tend to flock together. Well, what do they mean? Show them that loyalty without wisdom become a bondage. We need to teach these kids this. Need to stop sending them out here to the wolves. Teach them how to protect themselves. Teach them how to do it. Teach them how to be aware of what is going on around their circle. Teach them how to use their intuition. Be on alert. Teach them that their voice is a weapon. That's what we need to teach these kids. God gave them. You got to understand. I just need you to work with me. Teach them about spiritual grounding. Well, what do you mean by spiritual grounding? Well, give them a sense of right and wrong. Give them a sense of purpose. You must give your sons and daughters a sense of connection to something greater than themselves. Are you working with me this morning? It's about saving these young kids. I mean, a word to the parents and the men. I want you to listen to this word and I want you to share this word. The home is the first pulpit. I want you parents, men, women, Your children are watching you, seeing what you're doing. Sometimes they study you. They are learning from the tone of your voice. They learning your habits, your relationship, and your reaction. Parents, they're watching you. Everything you do, they're listening and they're learning. And this is how they develop their world. You cannot teach them what you do not live. You cannot pass down what you do not possess. You cannot expect them what to do, not as a model. Are you really listening to me, parents? I'm talking about real talk. So I want you to ask yourself, what is my life teaching my children? Ask yourself that. What are you teaching your children? What's in my life teaching my children? I just need you to understand something, is because when you look at the way the world is turning, parents are not teaching their kids right from wrong. They bring them in the world and they just, you on your own. They become orphans because nobody cares about them. And many young girls and young boys, reason why they fall off the path because they have not been taught. When we, as men and women, we can make a difference. You got to get out of this mindset. They're not my kids. Let them handle the best way they can. One person can make a difference. You and I and the community and all the so-called leaders can make a difference in making Independence, Tangipahoa, Amite, Hammond, Ponchatoula, and all around the local area. We can make a difference if we step up to the plate. Where are your so-called pastors, deacons, sisters? Where are they? The only time you care about them when you go to church. I see them on Sunday. After Sunday, I can care less what happens. I got to do my thing. You can't take 1 hour a week to come together as parents, and especially men. Come together and let us brainstorm a solution with the growing problem that we have with our youth. Charity begins at home. Your home's supposed to be a place to rest, place of enjoyment. But when you're dealing with a dysfunctional family, society will have to pay eventually. Your kids got to pay eventually because you have not taught them proper morals and values. The father was not there. He just impregnated you, and guess what? Adios. Now you are left. You got boys to raise. Your uncles in your neighborhood should be the first line of defense, especially the church. A church is a place where you can go and bring your kids. You teach them a spiritual background, the beginning of life. When they are denied of this, they're going to suffer. And I'm blaming you, not on many instances. Sometimes you can raise kids in a good environment, but because of the friends that they choose, cause them to stray away from you. And they can care less about how they were raised, what all you done for them. They can care less. And I'm going to say this. Sometimes kids realize later in life the importance of listening to their parents. Growing up and hear what their parents were saying. They didn't listen to what? And there is a difference between hearing and listening about some kids going to stray away. They feel like they don't need the parents anymore, even though the parents have done everything within there. And for all you all Bible readers, and I'm quite sure that you hear the story about the two sons, you need to understand the cause and the effect. One son went to his father and said, Dad, I want my share of your wealth before you close your eyes. And it caught the father by surprise. Give me all my money. I want to leave this town. So the father thought about it, thought about everything he'd done for the son. Why did son want to leave me? Make a long story short, the father paid him off, and the next morning he was getting ready to go on his journey. And you know how the good mothers and the good father want to hug you, say good luck, and all this kind of stuff. You got the good son and the bad son. Paint the story. So he went out to a foreign country, the one that got paid off. I mean, he went out there big time and thought, spending all his money, setting the table up and, out there showing out. And all of a sudden, the boy got down to his last dime. And you got to understand, you done left wealth because you didn't want to be part of your family. He got down so low, he lost all his money. And the only job that he can find is working in a pig pen. When you are starving, you would look at that. Now, that's the lowest job in that country. You at your weakness. Now you're working in a pig pen. And now you begin to realize all the things that you did have. Now it's coming to light. He got down so low, and he feels that he needed to go back home to where his father's at. And he just assumed that his father was not going to accept him. To show you how the whole story was. He came back home, and his father was on the porch, and he looked up and he saw his son, and he ran out, hugged his son, and his son began to explain, sorry, look, I know I sinned against you. I'm sorry. And the father was not trying to hear that. And so they looked at all the commotion, and the father said, look, my son is home. It's time for celebration. Go get this boy some clean clothes and put him on. Dress him up. But the other son was very angry because he didn't want to win and spend all of his wealth. Now he's coming back. Look, and that happened to a lot of us. Our family member leave home. I swear I'm not coming back here. And guess what? They get to a point in the city. The city have taken over their life. Now they want to come back. So they had a big celebration. And believe me, I mean, they were celebrating. The father said, to fix this, some of the best food, whatever, put him on some of the best road. But his son told him, say, look, your brother's home. And they celebrated. He was mad, and the father went out and said, come on, son. Get over it. He's home now. So like a lot of us, sometimes we forget where we come from until we get down to the lowest point of our life. And that is about real talk. And some kids going to listen. Some going to choose their own path. But you cannot allow your kids to pull you down if you have done all the things within your power. That you have raised your kids. You taught them morals and values. I know a lot of times, right now we live in a society where the mom is always raising the kids. The dad then got 2 or 3 wives. So therefore, who's going to be able to help her out with these boys? Where is the community at? Where is the community When these boys are out here getting shot up, where is the community leaders at? Where? I don't care. They're not my kids. Let them kill each other. Well, that's a negative attitude. So we don't really say need people like you as a community leader. We can make a difference, especially the military veterans. We can make a difference because we have been through it. We understand survival skills. We understand how people think and how they're programmed to think. I'm going to say this, and I want you to share this to all Tangipahoa Whole Parish or even Louisiana. I'm going to set up a day. All you successful business leaders, I'm only asking for one day out of a month for us to come together and save these kids. I thank God that I am blessed to be in the position that I am in. And my attitude is, it is not what the community can do for you. You need to ask yourself, what can I do for the community? It's not always something given to you. What can you give back? I said that we're in trouble, America. We're losing too many of our kids because no one taught them how to be men and how to be women. If you don't teach them, the street is doing a damn good job. I'm going to close out by saying this to every man out there. I'm going to say this to you. Many of the problems that we are dealing with our youth is you. You are to blame for many of the things going on because you're not around. The mother left trying to survive, trying to raise these kids on her own, raising these young boys. You don't show up. You just setting up there, nagging her. You don't want to help her. So she left holding the bag. Where are you at, boy? Address is unknown. Church leaders, pastors, deacon, whatever you call yourself. Where are you when times of crisis and need? The church is supposed to be a safe haven. The only thing that I see, the church is becoming a financial institution. You don't care about these young men out here. You don't start an organization about teaching. Call me. 985-606-2200. Bring your church, bring your young boys to one of the safest places in Tangipahoa Whole Parish. Stop making excuses for these failures. You got more excuses. Why can't? What are you doing to the community? They ain't doing nothing for me. I want to drink, smoke, and go to the casino. I want to do what I want to do on my time. You don't care about the leaders. But guess what you care about? You care about when it's time for you to be showcasing. That's the only time we see you. But you're supposed to be community leaders. Everything look real is real. Everything shine is not gold. But I want to say this to all my brothers and sisters out there. We need to save. We need to teach our kids. We need to teach them the importance of morals and values in today's society. It's two things that I really want. Based upon what I went over, it's about steady. It's about weighty. Prosperities and pastoral. It carries the tone of a man before the congregation. I just need you to, let's say, I don't care regardless of race, religion, sex, or national origin. Boys are boys, girls are girls. Once you reprogram your mind, the world will be a safer place to live. When you start doing your job as a man and a woman, as God's children, we're going to have a safer environment. So I'm going to close out to all my brothers and sisters out there. I mean, if this make a difference, this is only the first series. But when I come on the next time, I'm going to have a woman going to communicate with you about girls. And being a woman, I invite you to my show. So I want you to please bear with me on this closing. God, give us the wisdom to raise children who know who they are and whom they are. Give us that wisdom, Father God. Give our sons strength without violence, courage without arrogance, and purpose without pride. This is what we need to teach our kids. Give our daughters confidence without fear, boundaries without guilt, and discernment without bitterness. Cover them from the wound we never heal. Cover these sons and daughters, Father God. Protect them from the lesson that we learned too late. And make us the kind of elders who live the truth, who want them to inherit. I want to close it out by saying amen. To all my brothers and sisters out there, we got to save our youth, because the way our society done took over our youth, done took over you, but we done turned our back on God. So until next time, I will be coming back with another sermon. Adios. Good night. May God bless you.